Hey, good evening. We are playing a game of White Box FMAG by Charlie Mason. The title of this adventure is called Eyes of the Stranger. We have three players this evening. The background is the local baron by the name of Hassan Hawkland is sending these adventurers to the far northern outpost named Weirwarden to investigate a reported murder of the local constable and supposedly reported missing bodies of some other townsfolk in the area. There's been reports of a strange low-lying fog that appears over the town and over the area at nighttime, enough that the townsfolk are frightened and either stay inside the local tavern or they stay inside their house in fear of being the next victim of some unknown assailant, some unknown murderer. But as we approach that way and head that way, we'll start out with you, Rush. If you can tell me who you're going to be playing and kind of your thoughts as you're traveling to the outpost.
So I will be playing Graylin Pinestep, who is a druid of the wood. Um, he's a fairly young man, and typically he wouldn't be so interested in the happenings within villages and towns, but um, he did catch wind of this call from the Baron, and Graylin has a particular interest for the machinations of the unnatural, and whether men who live honest men, even if they live in within the city, do not deserve such fates. So he has chosen to travel with these people to lend aid in solving the mystery of these innocents who are disappearing.
All right, sounds perfect.
Uh,
Crystal, who are you going to be playing?
I'm playing Dalo the White. He has been sent here after the Baron gave a generous donation to the temple. This temple has decided to send Dalo to investigate these matters of fogs and rumors of disappearances and such. Dalo is not happy to be traveling with this heathen who worships nature spirits or whatever. I mean, those are obviously just devils, but perhaps he can turn this man to the way of the light and bring him to the gods.
Perhaps he can, or perhaps the druid can use his magics to save the cleric. As we go to Daniel, who are you going to be playing, Daniel?
Sorry. So I'm playing the magic user known as Nan. Most magic users, use these kind of short names for the common folk to call them, as knowing her true name would be give you power over her. So she's pretty happy to be here. Anything that she can do to explore and learn. She finds the kind of battle between, we'll call it, between what the cleric calls gods and the druid to be interesting, as most of her race lives longer than either of those. So she's here to figure out what's going on, and possibly to learn some lore that could help improve her skills.
All right, sounds perfect. All of you have been given fresh horses and enough gear to travel up into the mountain range to reach this kind of isolated outpost and isolated village by the name of Weirwarden. Um, you would probably know or have been told that Weirwarden is during the wintertime, the ground is frozen. Everything is frozen solid. There's hardly anything as far as commerce that goes on. Maybe some merchants can still travel the roads with their wagons travel through here, but besides that, it's the town is pretty much so isolated they stay to themselves during the harsh winter months. During the spring and summer, they or some mining that goes on, also some forestry. But during the winter, everybody pretty much just stays to themselves in this remote region. And like I say, you've been told that reported the constable there has been murdered or found to believe to be murdered along with some of the townsfolk. You begin your travels that way and go up into the mountain range, and the snow begins to fall. You would notice that you'll arrive about midday on the second day of travel. Um, the first day goes by pretty well. Not too bad as far as snow banks, no anything that has or blocks your travel any. You might camp at night. How would y'all like to do your setup on watch for the first night?
Nan likes to greet the morning, so she'll go last if that's okay.
Yes, yeah, it would be wise of the woman to cook us some breakfast. I will take the first watch. I'm sure the heathen there would like to worship his devils at night.
Graylin would scoff and just simply nod, and he'll look over at Nan and say, I will take the watch and be sure that you're up when you wish."
Thank you.
You set up your camp, and Dalo, you start your beginning of your watch and meditation, your prayers, or whatever you do, and roll me a d6.
I rolled a 3.
Your watch goes by. You hear some noises coming from on deeper into the mountain range, and the snow starts to pick up a little bit. Maybe about an hour after your watch begins, but everything else goes smooth. As you wake up Graylin to begin his watch, and as you do, Graylin, and get into the middle of your watch, if you'll roll me a d6.
I rolled a 2.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you're not allowed to use those big dice anymore.
Graylin, about halfway through your watch, what you would think, you hear the drifting snow, the blowing snow, and it seems to be picking up even more after you first was awoken. And you hear footsteps approaching. It's dark. Of course, you probably have your campfire going, but it's dark from where they're coming from, and it sounds like footsteps of more than one person. You can definitely tell it's probably humanoid. It's not heavy footsteps, but in the snow, you're not for sure.
Okay. So the first thing I would do, given the 2, I would move to Nan first and reach down and wake her because I'm assuming that I've been able. Did Nan make it apparent during our travel that she was indeed a wizard, or is she kind of just being ambiguous about it?
Oh, no, it's pretty clear that she's a wizard.
Okay, so I would waken her first and tell her, I would just lean down, shake her, and say, "Wake up, I hear footsteps." And then I would swiftly and quietly move to the priest and do the same. And I would wake Dalo up and say, "I hear footsteps in the snow. Get up."
Okay, Dalo will get up, and he'll try and stay a bit quiet. He's rubbing the sleep from his eyes.
As you three begin and you hear a voice call out, a human voice, and it goes, "Encampment, human soldiers moving in. No offense, we're moving in for warmth and any hot food or drink you may have." You see 5 figures approach dressed in different type of armor, leather, some of them wearing chainmail, different kind of weapons moving in. And everybody roll a d6. I'll give you a 1 through 3. If you get a 1 through 3, you would probably recognize the insignia they're wearing.
I got a 2.
I also got a 2.
Yep, you recognize their insignia that they're wearing, maybe some on their shields. That these are soldiers from the neighboring barony of Pisco that neighbors the barony that you're in. You know that the Baron there and also Baron Hawkland are, friendly towards one another. In the mountain range, they kind of crisscross over. So, I mean, it's not unusual to see them this far over. And they tell you that they've been traveling and are trying to locate a band of mountain orcs that have been attacking some late season caravans.
Okay.
Come, warm yourself by the fire. Orcs are dangerous at night, so be weary.
I would, and I would add to it that we do not have, we have very little to spare. I can perhaps make you a tea.
Yes, anything hot to quench us from traveling through this awful environment.
Do they look injured at all? These soldiers?
No, they just look wore out. I mean, they've said they've been traveling for quite some time there, but no, there's no injuries among them.
Okay. Dela will like offer to give them some blessings of his gods, or maybe before they leave, he'll do that.
Yeah, they thank you for that. In fact, a couple of them would recognize, maybe once you told your deity, they would recognize and say they serve him. And also, they also offer to stay up the rest of the night and assist you in your watch till morning.
Yes. Well, Sheriff would completely approve of that, or would thank you for that.
So, one thing that I forgot was that I have, and it's because I forgot to write it down, I actually have an animal companion.
Yes, you do. Thank you. I forgot about it too.
Because Druid. So I have a choice between the hawk and the dog. And I typically go with the dog because I'm a dog person. So since we're in the middle watch, I would move to ask Nan quietly, do you feel comfortable with standing watch with these men? With the other 2 of us asleep?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would look at them. Do they look like creepers?
No, they just look rugged and just wore out. I mean, they're just, you can tell they've probably been in the mountains for several days tracking these orcs.
Yeah, I mean, she nodded. She said that's fine. She's actually since you're still in the middle of your watch, she's actually probably gonna roll over and sleep for a bit. But she says, I don't think all of them need to stay up all night. Maybe let some sleep.
Yeah.
And then she goes back.
So I'll finish making them a really nice, really hot, rich pot of tea, maybe to help them go to sleep. Not put anything in it, but
Right.
And then serve them the tea or whatever, and then provided nothing else happens for the rest of my watch, then what I'll do is I'll pull my my pup over and I'll just kind of tell him, I'll point it, and as I wake Nan up for her watch, I'll just kind of talk to him a little bit and point at Nan and basically tell him to stay with her and to keep watch before I lay back down.
Yep, you're able to do all that. They thank you for the hot drink and any food that you share. You're able to wake Nan up. Nan, a couple of them will stay up on the outside perimeter with you, and The rest of them you see are so exhausted they pass off quickly to sleep after drinking the tea from Graylin. And roll me a d6, Daniel.
Sure. 1. I win.
Oh man. Oh, perfect. Probably close to daylight. The two soldiers that are with you, Nan, you see them draw their swords and they start chattering and pointing out towards the area. And one of them yells back at you and says, we've got something coming, something fast and quick. I don't believe it's human.
The Nan will move closer to the fire and pick up, like a stick that's at the end of it. So she has kind of like a burning, like a torch, basically used as a weapon. And she'll kind of back towards Graylin and kind of give him a little soft kick.
So I'll sit up. I'm assuming were the soldiers loud enough for us to hear, or?
I tell you what, roll test your Constitution. Test 4d6 against your Constitution, and you need to get equal to or under your Constitution to see if you're awake. You and Dalo both.
46. Under my con.
Rolled an 11, and my con is an 11. I don't know.
All right, yeah. If you get equal to, that's fine. Also.
Yeah, I made it under mine. I have
10 y'all both were awakened then by the loud shouts of the soldiers. You probably didn't hear exactly what they were saying, but you were awakened to something going on.
Ah, the woman made our breakfast already. Fantastic.
Quiet. Get to your feet.
As you start waking and preparing, you see coming out of the dark. I mean, it's still dark, but you can tell daylight is not far, maybe 30, 45 minutes away. You see coming out of the dark this large human. It is a human, but he's large, built, wearing all these furs and things. And you see the madness in his eyes. You see his eyes are shining blue as he runs and he charges straight into one of these soldiers and he swings at this soldier with this huge axe. And as he does, you just see the soldier's head just slice completely off.
Nice.
And we will roll initiative from this point.
Hey, did we have enough time to get like on our armor and everything?
No way you'd have time to do that.
I got an 11.
11 for Nan, okay. What did Dalo get?
6 from Dalo.
6 for Dalo. And what about Graylin?
You said it's a D12 plus your dex, right?
Yep, plus or minus your dex, yep.
Then I also got an 11.
Hey, perfect. You and Nan both are alert enough to go first then.
What's your dex?
Mine's 9.
All right, so mine's higher than yours, so I will go first. Okay, do I think that sorry, just quickly look. I'm going to try to cast sleep on it.
All right.
Yeah, I look at it and I stretch my hand out and I say, "Calm yourself," and I'm going to try to cast sleep.
When you do, it looks at you and you see what once probably would have been a human, some type of probably berserker or barbarian that's natural to this area at one time. But you see now the fullness of the blue icy eyes and the face and part of the skin that's hanging off of it. And you can tell that this thing is not human anymore. And it looks straight towards you and starts running towards you now, man.
Okay. Didn't catch the skin hanging off part.
Hold on a minute. I need to see if this thing will work. It's been a long time since I've had these kind of is he still hold on. Is he still considered human size, or is he bigger than?
Oh yeah, he'd be human. You know, he's probably maybe 6'4" or something like that. He's over 6 foot, but I mean, he's wearing all these big heavy furs, makes him look bigger.
So the first thing I'm going to signal to my dog to attack, And then
you don't have your dog attack, okay?
yeah, and then I'm going to try to cast hold person against this thing.
Let's see. What does it say exactly? It's been so long since I've studied up on the spells.
I looked at it to see if it said anything about undead, and it doesn't. It just says persons of human size or smaller may instead target a single creature who must make their save at a minus. Okay.
So he gets a save, okay?
Yeah, so it's 1d4 persons of human size or smaller, or a single creature who must make their save at a -2.
All right, let's see what he rolls. He is going to fail his save. You see him in mid-stride running straight towards Nan, probably fixing to try to behead her. And you see him in mid-stride stop.
Hold on, something else I need to look at too. Duration. All right, it doesn't say anything that attacking it will break it either.
Yeah, I'm going to say it doesn't. I mean,
Okay.
for far as you know, right now it's held for sure.
All right. And then my dog. So he gets one attack. Warhound has a +1 to hit.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
give you another +1, or I'll really give you another +2, really, since he's frozen, this thing is.
So, well, the dog goes after him and I guess is scared because of this thing being big and glowy eyed, and he snaps at him, but he misses with an 8 total.
The creature was up next with a 10. You see it standing there frozen in place, but it's still trying to utter and mutter some words coming out of it, but it's completely held at this point. The soldiers had a 7. You see the other one that was on guard duty with Nan. I mean, he's just standing there in bewilderment. I mean, it's seeing his friend just completely beheaded in one swing of that axe. The other ones are waking up and grabbing weapons. Up to you now, Dalo.
Delo grabs his holy symbol, which is this kind of ring with different runes engraved on it for the different gods that he serves, and he calls upon the power of one of his gods who control death, as he says to the foul creature, return from the depths of hell from which you have come. Go towards the light, and attempts to cast Turn Undead.
All right, roll your 3d6 for that. You're going to need to get for this particular thing, you're going to need to get a 10.
I rolled an 8, so did not manage to turn it.
All right.
I was like, I hope he gets a chance to cast that. I was pulling for you.
Yeah, you see it still staying there frozen in place. We're back to Nan and Graylin then.
Yeah, I mean, since she's realizing now that it's clearly not living because it has skin peeling off of it, she's gonna just walk over and light it on fire.
Yeah, you can do that, and you're gonna pour some oil on it then, and then set it on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm in a rush because I trust the power of the druid. So yeah, I splash a little oil on it and I just light it up with the piece of stick that's burning that I have in my hand.
Yep, and it burns to a charred crisp after a few rounds or whatever. It does not move from the whole person. It lets out agony and screams. Y'all are able to burn it up, and it finally goes to bone and ashes and cinder on the ground.
Aha.
Gods of Nature 1.
So, yep, it is no longer there. You hear nothing else coming.
Yeah, Nan's feeling a little off of her game, having been like serving in court for the last, couple of years or whatever. And she's thinking, man, I should have recognized immediately that was an undead creature. So she's feeling a little less confident as she sits back down to finish her watch.
Yeah, and after this happens, you know, like I say, you have maybe 30 minutes till daylight. So, I mean, it was almost at the end of your watch. So The new day's begun. Anybody that use spells, you won't regain those slots as the new day begins. You won't have enough time to rest unless you wanted to rest some more today, and you would get to the town, with dark instead of getting there about halfway through.
Nah, I'm good.
The soldiers, of course, thank you for everything. They pile their companion up and burn his body. They tell you that they've seen a few of the undead through the mountains, that they're not common. They have seen quite a few, though, in the past, and the best thing to do is to burn the bodies, because they've heard stories of some foul magic from some witch or hags or something that live in the mountains that have been raising the dead.
Dalo will do a funeral procedure for their fallen comrade.
All right, perfect. But y'all are able to head on out. The soldiers, tell you also to be, of course, on the lookout for orcs, since they're attacking people in the area also.
You're good.
And probably midday, roughly, you would think, we'll say about 2 p.m. our time. You come into the area, and you can tell the ground is. The ground is frozen. This is cold, cold, cold weather. Winter is set in for sure. You travel into the small village of Weirwarden. You don't notice any people actually out on the street, being midday. You do notice a bunch of smoke and stuff coming up from a chimney fire at the tavern. It's got a picture of a group of people that are standing around a sword, and all the people are like, some of them are bowled over in this raucous laughter, and some of them are with their arms up laughing and stuff, and they're all standing here looking at this picture of this sword. And you see on the emblem, it says the Laughing Sword Tavern. You also would know, I'll put it in chat so you'll have the name, that you're supposed to contact a lady by this name. She is kind of like the village mayor, Andretta Dara.
Okay.
Like I say, the streets are empty. There's no one on the streets at all moving.
Do we know where to locate this? Were we told there's like a town hall or something, or we don't know?
No, but they didn't even tell you. They just, because this town's pretty small, you would think overall. They didn't give you exact location where to try to find her.
Well, the tavern usually works for us. So she Nana walk towards the tavern.
Yep, I'll follow.
You open the door to this old wooden, almost a shack looking, and probably poor condition. As soon as you open the door, you feel the warmth, though, of the large fire in the middle of the room coming, and you notice it's very crowded. You would probably note or think maybe the majority of the townsfolk or any traveling folks are in the tavern, and they see you three come in. The gentleman behind the bar is an older man, older human, and he says, welcome to Weirwarden, strangers. What brings you in on such of a terrible, terrible time?
We have been sent by the Baron to investigate the strange happenings here. We're looking for Andretta Dura.
When you say that before he can answer you, you see this woman sitting over the table. She's very short, you can tell by the way she's sitting, but she's very stocky, very muscular built. You would probably think in her late 30s or so. And she has this beautiful, long, flowing black hair. She says, I am Andretta.
So turn. Excellent. Well met. And Nan will walk towards the table. And she'll introduce herself. I am Nan. These are my companions.
Say, as he introduced, I bow politely and say, Pine Step.
Right.
I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
No, you're fine. I didn't want to. Yeah. So I introduced the two, and And then, assuming it doesn't seem like a problem, I'm going to sit down.
No, she crosses her arm. She then picks up a large mug of what you would think would be some type of hot cider or something that she's drinking. She says, "Well, I am Andretta Derer. I am the well, some call me the town's council. Some people call me the mayor, but of course, no one else wanted the job. So I guess that's why I wound up with it. You've come to Weirwarden in very perilous times. It seems we have a murderer amongst us."
Indeed. How were maybe we have this information already? I don't know. How were the people killed? How were the bodies?
Well, there have been 4 townsfolk that have been found dead in probably the last 4 to 6 weeks. And 3 nights ago, Constable Mr. Franklin, he was murdered about 3 nights ago. He's been patrolling at night, and evidently the murderer took him too. This happened at night. The bodies are found in the morning. The ground is too cold and too frozen for any burial. We have stored the bodies in the ice house. So I can take you there if you would like to inspect the bodies. They are all found in various forms of. Well, they seem to be some type of burn marks, claw marks. Their clothing mangled and torn, almost shriveled up in a way.
As if it was done by a creature.
I want to say it's the witches. The witches from the mountains have put some curse on this place.
So Graylin would raise an eyebrow and then just kind of look over at Dalo. And I would say that the witches are more the expertise of my companion, whereas mine lies with the beast. I would very much like to see these bodies if you would allow.
Yes, let me finish my mug of cider and get my coat on, and I will take you to the ice house. Also, the town has offer if you are able to find the murderer and bring them to justice, the town will give you 200 gold pieces that we have saved up in our very small treasury.
Are there any suspects, any people new to town recently or such?
When you say that, roll me a d6, Crystal.
Okay. 1.
When you say that, you see another townsfolk, older woman, human woman. She hears your conversation. She runs up and she says, "Tell him, Andretta, tell him. It's the ghost. It's the ghost of the old druids of the forest. They've come back for their revenge. That's what is going on here. It's the old ghost of the old druids, I'm telling you." Andretta seems to just ignore the woman and her babbling as she tells you that, Dalo.
Dalo gives Gremlin Graylin just this kind of like smirk, and the devil worshippers. It would make sense that they would be behind this whole mess.
He just kind of grumbles. While Andretta finishes her cider, I would excuse myself with my from the table, and I would go over and gently put my arm around the woman and draw her away from the table and ask her to please explain exactly what she meant. Tell her I'm very interested to hear this tale.
Yep, I'm going to send you a private message and tell you what she tells you.
Are you sending it on
Yeah, it'll be on
Zoom?
here. I'm typing it up real quick.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was looking for it in the right place.
Just hit enter, so you probably should get it on here.
Okay.
It says, "Go screw yourself." I know you're one of those devil worshippers.
Yeah, I know. um. All right, give me 1 second here.
Nan, roll me a d6 while maybe y'all are waiting for Andretta and conversations are going in and out of the area.
I mean, if she's having, I'll probably drink something too. We just came in from the cold after traveling all day, so I'm having some cider as well. I rolled a 4.
Sounds really
All
good
right.
now. Y'all have me craving some cider now.
All right, Daniel, I'm going to send you some information that you overhear some people talking about.
So while you type that, this doesn't require much for you, but I'll thank her and I'll just kind of. It's an older woman, like an old lady.
Yeah, she's like you would think, definitely older human female.
So I would just kind of take her hand and give it a very polite nod and kiss and tell her thank you, and that I will see what we can do, and then I'll make my way back to the table with my doggy.
All right. And that's what you hear, Nan, from some people sitting at a table.
Oh, interesting.
And Dalo, if you're going to maneuver around a little bit while everybody's drinking and stuff, if you want to roll me a d6.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you did. I'm sorry. You heard the deal about the druids. I'm sorry. I meant Graylin. Graylin, if you want to hear something else. You never did actually hear something. You just
took that.
Yeah, I pulled her away from the table, and to be quite honestly, to be honestly fair, Graylin would probably be very, intently focused on her conversation.
On that, okay, fine.
Probably wouldn't even be listening.
Yep, that's good.
Truth be told.
So, as I'm finishing my drink, I'm going to lean in towards Andretta, and I'm going to say, so, who is this Cicerella?
Oh, Cicerella, her and I we're within just a few years of each other. She lives on the outskirts of town. She deals quite a bit in herbs and natural medicines and stuff. A lot of people around here deem her a witch, but Cicerella's harmless. She just, she doesn't get along with most of the townsfolk, so most of them deem her not compatible with the rest of us, I guess you would say. But I've known her since childhood. She's fine.
Interesting. Well, one person's witch is another person's cleric.
I've never heard this before. Men of God and not worshippers of devils. But I digress. What are these ghosts that this lady went on about?
Oh, the old lady. She always speaks of the story of the old druids of the forest nearby. Supposedly, many years ago, some of the druids, their minds were corrupted and they turned to evil ways. And the Baron back at that age reportedly had them all hunted down and brought into justice.
Rightly so.
And supposedly they've returned, their ghosts have returned to enact their revenge on the area. But story this, story that.
I see, yes. Well, when you worship devil spirits, it's only a matter of time before it catches up with you.
As you all finish your drink, your food, whatever you see Andretta get up and put on a very heavy fur coat, and she says, "Well, if you'd like to go, I can take you to the ice house before dark and let you look at the bodies."
Yes, please lead the way, Miss Dara.
You see, as she gets up, she has a sword and a hand axe attached to her belt and stuff. You can tell this woman is probably very well fit, of course, by her deal, and she takes care of herself very well. You maneuver to the ice house, and as she opens it up, she says, "Please, please come in." And you see what appears to be 5 covered up bodies laying in the back of the ice house, probably where the coldest part of it is. And she leads you over there, and she says, "These are the 4 townsfolk and the constable's body." And like I say, the constable was, I guess it was 3 nights ago that it probably happened to him, maybe 4 now.
I see. Dalo will approach the bodies, and he'll go ahead and begin to uncover one. Like, he's not going to just rip the blanket completely off. Like, he'll like fold it down just a few times, to kind of reveal the face. He's going to search around. Being a level 4 cleric, one of the first things he would want to look for is like signs of like zombieism or anything like that, like maybe sinking skin, or just if the body is decaying naturally or not. Of course, it's really cold, so that might be hard to tell anyway.
Are you wanting to look at one of the 4 townsfolk or the constable's body?
He wants to look at the oldest body, the first murdered victim first.
All right. You pull back the sheet, and you see a human male there. His face is appears like it's just been clawed, like some animal is attacked him and just clawed part of his face. As you see the imprint of the claw marks going down his face and tearing his flesh. His body is pretty well preserved, being in an ice house now for several 4 to 6 weeks. You notice some of the skin itself is shrunken up and stuff on that body there.
Like, is it very obviously from the claw mark of, say, a beast?
Make me an intelligence roll at I'm gonna say 4d6.
Can I assist with that because I have forestry?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. Read that. Make sure. Go ahead and make your roll, Crystal, if you want to.
Okay. Intelligence. I rolled a 10, and my intelligence is a 6. So I'm not sure at all if this is.
Yeah, you're not for sure.
I don't believe that this is the claw mark of a beast. I think that this is obviously from a ghoul.
Yeah, Graylin, make a forestry roll. You got a 3 out of 6 chance.
Yeah, and I got a 2.
Yeah, Graylin, as you look at the body, you can tell that these claw marks are probably not from just a normal animal. I mean, it's as you see the way that they curve in, and just maybe it's not like they just went in like an animal probably would just be in a rage and just dig into the flesh and just go to bone or whatever, trying to kill its prey. But you can tell this has been enough to scrape into the skin to cause agony and pain, but it's not probably what you would think from a normal beast.
So I would motion for Dalo to come over and show him, as I'm looking at the claw marks, and basically explain that very thing, and then at the end say, so I cannot speak on whether it is done by a ghoul, but you are correct in that it was not done by one of the natural creatures of the forest.
Well, if it was not done by a natural creature, that rules out many other aspects it could be. And we did fight an undead on the way here, so.
Yes.
Nana's going to be, while they're doing that, she's going to look at Franklin.
You go over and pull back the constable sheet, the newest victim body. Of course, the preservation of the cold is, preserving it. But on him, you see what appears on his face, and he's an older man, older human. You would think probably would have been in his early 60s if you would have to guess. But it seems like you notice a bunch of almost like blister bubbles, blister burns on his face and the upper part of his body. You don't notice any claw marks on him. It's more like something that's blistered his skin up and stuff.
So having looked at this instead of the other thing, I say, well, we either have more than one creature, or you don't know what claw marks look like. And I'll say it's probably the first. And she's looking at the constable. Does the blisters look like red, like it was burnt, or does it look almost like it was an infection, like it's bubbling?
Roll me a 3d6 on your intelligence.
9. What mine is actually 13, so that's under. Yep.
Yeah, let me send you a message, because you may not want to share this at this point, but I'll send you what you feel at this point.
And Graylin would respond with, no one is debating whether it was a claw mark or not. It's just whether or not the claw mark was done by an unnatural creature. These were not done by bear or wolf. They were done by something far more sinister and unnatural. But
I believe,
and walks towards so she can see what you're looking at, just to make sure. I mean, she believes you on some level, but yeah. I mean, she's looking at something totally different, so that's why she's like a little, yeah.
whether or not these since we agree that these were not probably done by a natural creature, Delos says, not giving away that he actually has no fucking idea whether it was natural or not. I think the best thing to do would be to get the men of the city to make some fire, or some what is this called? Like the things you lay bodies on to burn. Pyre.
Like a funeral pyre?
Yeah, funeral pyre. Yeah, that's what's from there. Yeah, there's get some men of the town to make a few funeral pyres, and we should burn these bodies immediately so that they cannot be used for the purposes of evil.
When you say that, Andretta crosses her arms, much like in her photo, and she says, "These bodies will not be burned. These bodies will be properly buried in the spring. Myself and the townsfolk will not let you, stranger, burn these bodies."
Yes, that seems awful rash, since we need to investigate more. And she's going to walk, Nad's going to walk to the next body.
Look at that, a woman who doesn't know any better. Been sent by the church as a expert in this field, and I can assure you that the best thing to do would be to burn these bodies.
You say that to Andretta or Nan?
That's actually what I said. Are you talking to me?
Dalo is just speaking. Nan spoke her mind, and so that's what he said.
Graylin would.
And he says to Dretta, I've been sent as an expert from the church.
Well, your expert opinion means absolutely nothing here. Like I say, the bodies will not be burned.
Well, Nan's going to walk up to one of the other older bodies and see if that seems to match hers or this one here as far as damage.
And while he does that, Graylin would kind of very gently put a hand on like Andretta's shoulder and just kind of say out loud that I think that the Madam Mayor's wishes are, they appear to be plainly stated, and perhaps their religious preference should be minded here.
Nan, you were going to the body that Dalo's already looking at, or did you want to look at some of the other ones?
Well, no, I assume since they had that uncovered already, I could see what it looked like. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, right? That it's got a big claw mark on the face.
Yeah, when you get over and see, it's totally different than the constable. I mean, you see the actual claw marks into the skin and then down through the face.
Yeah, I mean, since I saw that, and then we had this conversation where Dalo was going to get his ass kicked by this woman, I wanted that turn and look at another one of the bodies while this is going on.
Yeah, you uncover the other bodies, and they're all in different states. You see, some of them have the what appears to be like some type of claw marks on their skin.
Mhm.
They're all, of course, shriveled in. A lot of them appear. One of them appears almost like it was burned, already burned itself, but it's more of a. It's not like a burn from a normal fire. I mean, you see different. You can tell maybe some of the blister burns that you notice on the constable, but these are older and stuff. I mean, you just see a various array of different type of things on all the bodies.
So I guess what I'm ultimately looking to figure out is if the earlier bodies look like they were attacked by claws, and then later we have this weird thing, or is it kind of a jumble?
It's really jumbled. I mean, if you ask Andretta about it, the second victim, the second oldest victim, has more of the burn and the scarring of the blisters and stuff than it would the claws. So it's really no particular order to it.
Okay, that's what she was trying to figure out. So she'll turn to the group and say, "It seems to me that this burning and blistering could be caused by some kind of a curse or spell cast, possibly in collusion with some beast or in control of some beast, is a person who can work the arts of magic."
Which is why these bodies should be burned. They
just jealous because I burned that one thing already. I mean, I would have let you burn it if I had known you really had that feel for it,
I congratulate you for burning the body. It is what I would have done. You
sure.
did something correct, but I think that these bodies also need burned. I do not believe that they will stay in this state until spring for a proper burial. If the grounds were soft, I would gladly dictate a funeral for burial rites. But in this matter, a burning of the bodies is the safest and best way to go. I agree with both you and the druid, as he calls himself over there. Woman, go fetch your husband and let me speak to him. Let me tell him what's going on here. He'll surely understand that a burning of the bodies is clearly the best way to go here.
You say that's Andretta?
Unfortunately.
I lean over to Nan and I tell Nan, I say, I only have 5 gold coins, but I'm putting them all on the mayor.
He smiles.
Andretta crosses her arms again and she looks towards you, Dalo, and she spits on the ground and she says, "There is no husband. I need no man to make decisions for me."
Definitely putting it all on the mayor.
I can't say that I'm surprised that you're wed.
What is even happening tonight?
So I'm going to say, since they're fighting over there, I'm going to say relatively softly to Graylin, I'm going to say, fire is a way to cover your tracks, if you know what I mean.
I do. But more importantly, in this case, for me, it's more along the lines of, I mean, I do not share this woman's religion, but I do not wish to cause her the townsfolk offense either. It is their religious preference, and it should be respected.
Well, I agree. I mean, perhaps the church is trying to cover something up. as their representative is so adamant about burning the evidence?
I think the good priest is just um, impulsive but well-meaning.
What are you two whispering about over there?
Ah,
You were
good.
taking bets on how long you would survive in a fight between yourself and the mayor. Unfortunately, we both wanted to vote for the same person.
Well,
look
the gods
over
are on my side, so it would be a smart bet to decide on me. Nevertheless,
Yes.
I shall not fight the mayor. That is not the will of the gods on this day.
So, where were the bodies found? Any consistency there?
They've all been found on morning sunrise in various places just on the street. Unfortunately, discovered by whatever townsfolk happened up on them first. They've been just found in the middle of the streets. The only other thing I can tell you that has been strange is we've had quite a bit of different nights. There's some low-lying fog that comes in just after dark and covers the ground and the air for most of the night, making visibility very, very low. Of course, being in the mountains and in the frozen ground itself, but this has been a very thick, low-lying fog that seems to linger on through the night.
Does the fog, now that you mentioned it, I was going to ask you about tracks leading to and fro, but the fog that comes, does it come from a particular direction, like perhaps, say, the direction of the Greyland Wood?
Not that I'm aware of, not I've heard of anybody say it, not that I know myself. I don't believe there's an exact specific location we could pinpoint it on.
Is there fog only on the nights where there's been murders, or is there fog every night?
She crosses her arm, like she's pondering for just a moment at that question, thinking back. And well, now that you mention it, I'm pretty sure that I can tell you that every night that a murder has taken place, that there has been fog on those nights, but I'm sure we've had fogs other nights also where no murders have taken place. But yes, now that you mention it, I'm pretty sure that it is foggy on the nights that the murders take place.
We should get a ladder and climb up onto the roof of the tallest building and watch as this fog comes in. See if, from a vantage point, we could see anything moving in the fogs below.
What happened to Dalo?
Did
He
you?
was replaced by somebody with a good idea.
So I would speak up and ask the mayor. So the last two questions I have are: have there been strange tracks leading into and out of town on the nights of the murders? And my second question is: do the nights that the murders occur, are they random, or is it every X number of days? Or is it just completely random?
To answer your latter question, as far as I know, it's been random. It doesn't seem to be any pattern to it. Your first question, that's one reason Constable Franklin was trying to stay up to. He was a very good tracksman and a very good hunter for many years. But there was no tracks left that were able to be found leading away from the murder scenes themselves. He was hoping that by staying up, that he could actually catch the murderer himself and in the midst of the act. But yes, no tracks to follow at all that I'm aware of.
So I turn to the other two and I say, then it appears that the only choice we have is to, as the young priest suggested, we wait and wait for this fog and take a position on high.
And in the meantime, we should burn the bodies.
I should. We should.
Come up. Go. Sorry.
I kind of am interrupting you because I don't want you to reply to Dela. Like I'm kind of like making you ignore him purposely. And I say, I would like to also speak with this Cicerella, because if she is a maker of potions, she probably knows the area very well. So I would love to go visit her before it gets too late.
Yes.
Yes, I will probably be best, since you are strangers. I will be glad to take you to her, since we are lifelong friends. I will be glad to. She lives on the outskirts of town, but yes, we must make haste before dark falls.
Lifelong friend, you say. Outskirts of town may not be the safest place for your friend should this fog roll in again.
Believe me, Cicerella can take care of herself.
In that case, I'd like to meet her myself.
Boy.
Yep, and if y'all didn't want to do anything else, looking at the bodies or whatever, she would make sure that Dalo leaves the ice house first, of course. And
sorry,
we're trying to not get hung.
Get her ass out of here.
And you would tell you probably have about an hour till probably dark. The sun is beginning to go, and it's getting very much colder. Some flurries of snow coming in. She takes you just on the outskirts of town to this very small hovel, just a very small wooden hut. She says, yes, this is my friend Cicerella. She goes and knocks on the door. You hear a voice. It sounds like an old woman go, "What is it, dear?" And you hear Andretta go, "Well, it's me, Cicerella. May we come in?" The voice changes to a much younger voice. Sure, Andretta, come on in, please. She opens the door, and you see almost what would be a sister to Andretta. You see she's not as muscular and well built like Andretta is, but you see a woman with long flowing black hair and would appear, the same age, because you would remember Andretta said they grew up together, pretty much the same age or close to it. And she says, you've brought visitors. Are you here to purchase some herbs or things that I may have? Looking towards Graylin.
Well, that was not the original intent of our visit, but I would indeed browse what you have if you would not mind while you speak with my, and I motion to Nan. I say, if you wish to speak with my friend here.
Yep, and Andretta makes the proper courtesies and introductions, and Cicerella says, well, I don't know what help I can be, but I will entertain any questions, of course, to find and put a stop to this awful murderer that is taking over our area.
Well, this fog seems very interesting to me, and one who is so connected to the forest as yourself, thought perhaps you'd have more insight as to where the fog could be coming from, so that we may prepare ourselves.
You see her in her hand, she had one of her hands closed, and she shakes it and drops these small bones. You would think they're probably from a bird or something, drops them on a table, and she says, the fog is not a natural phenomenon of the weather. The fog is from some evil that is bringing the murderer to our town.
Interesting. Well, I had heard that there was a group of priests. They dress all in red, and I say that and I kind of look at her and see if she reacts at all. Then I pause a little bit. I say, who had been working some weather magic. down south. I'm curious if they'd moved this way. Did she seem to react at all when I said the red thing?
No, she looks at you puzzled and she goes, well, normally priests and clerics do not get along with me. They don't agree with things I do, and the persons of who support nature. And she looks towards Grayland. They usually don't like our types, and we don't like their types either much. So, no, I don't know anything about priests or clerics.
I see. Okay.
So while I'm browsing her wares, I would ask, so what can you tell me of this rumor I hear of old druids of Greyland Forest? Do you know of anything? One would assume you know of what I speak.
She picks up the scattered bones on the table in front of her, and she shakes them up again and drops them on the table. She says, oh, it is a legend of many, many years back. It has been forgotten by most, except the ones who are still in this area. There were many great druids in the old Greyland Forest. They were very powerful, very good and lawful people, until one of them opened some type of portal that brought in some great evil. They all turned to the great evil and began to destroy the forest and the creatures of the forest, and begin to turn the waters black, the land parched. The Baron sent his army in. A large battle was fought. They were either hung from trees, the dead trees they made dead, or they were brought back to the Baron's prison and punished for their evil deeds. There is a story that says one day they will return in the form of ghosts and spirits, and they will seek their revenge and take these mountains back. That is what you speak of.
So I look at her very intently and I say, do you believe that the fallen have returned?
She looks towards the bones that she threw scattered, and she says, I believe they are powerful enough they would block any divination I would have of knowing for sure. There is something going on in this area. The source of it I do not know.
I kind of sigh heavy and nod once, and kind of glance at the other two, and then go back to browsing her wares, looking for a nice tea.
Hey, Tony, is there like a temple in this town?
Excuse me. No, there is not. You've noticed that there wasn't any actual temples to any particular deity at all, but you would have noticed.
Okay, when Dalo saw what kind of shop this was, he would just say a prayer under his breath, and he's not going to enter such a house of evil. He'll instead just head back to the tavern since there's no temple in town.
Yeah.
Realizes what a godless place he's in.
If you head back out, Andretta says, I will make sure your friend makes it back to the Laughing Sword. When you finish here, please come back. So she follows you because she don't trust you.
So she can follow me. I mean, he's headed towards the tavern.
Yep, she'll take you back to the Laughing Sword.
Yeah, I think our best plan, since everybody has bits of information, but nothing super solid as far as a lead. I'm saying to Grayland because he'll be with me. We should maybe set up a watch, and if the fog comes, prepare ourselves. But we've been traveling all day. I would like a nice meal and maybe some rest.
Fine idea. Perhaps we can let the priest sleep the entire night. And then I kind of chuckle.
Well, Hopefully we won't have to watch the priest.
Graylin, as you begin to leave the shop of Cesarella, she comes up to you and she grabs your arm, and her touch is cold. I mean, just cold, cold, bitter cold, like you were staying out in the weather. And she puts a small pouch into your hand, closes your hand over, and she says, "This may help you with what you have to come to fight the evil." And she gives you a pouch of different herbs and things that you can smell. And write down if you make any type of wisdom checks, you can have a +1 of those, or really be -1.
Oh, wait a minute. If I do a wisdom check to see what it is?
Yeah, well, no. If you do any kind of wisdom check in the rest of the game, like anything that would require wisdom,
Oh, okay.
since that's your primary, it would help you.
Okay. Does it have a thong, like a leather thong that I could just hang the pouch around? Okay. I would put it on her. I would put it around my neck, and I'm guessing that she's probably older than me, even though she looks somewhat young. Or
You're not sure. When you first approached, you heard the voice of an old woman, but when you actually went in, she was pretty much probably in her early to mid 30s, much like Andretta
okay.
in appearance.
So I would take her by the hand and pay her the same respect, and ask her, tell her thank you for the gift. And kind of refer to her as sister, and as I hold her hand, I would just kind of rub her hand a little bit and say, perhaps a nice fire and a warm tea for your hands. And then I would let her go and walk out.
Yep, y'all will make your way back then. Dalo, as you're escorted back to the tavern by Andretta and you go in, you hear some people talking. Roll me a d6, Dalo.
Okay. Oops, I accidentally rolled 46. 4.
All right, I'm going to send you some information of what you hear two people talking about when you walk in. Oh, this ought to be funny because it's gonna. Oh man, there's gonna be a PvP, I think, before the game ends.
Oh,
With all these stories and rumors.
Never know.
All right, that's what you hear two guys talking about when you come back into the Laughing Sword.
that was to who?
Crystal.
Crystal. Okay.
Yep, Dalo hears that.
And Dalo is going to sit with those guys since they seem to be like-minded. Yeah, he'll order a meal with them and have a small drink with them and stuff.
Yeah, that's all you hear them talking about. They keep using that same W word over and over about that person, and they think that whatever's going on, they think that she's involved in it somehow. The other two, Nan, you and Graylin, make it back to the Laughing Sword. As you come in, you see your companion Dalo sitting with two kind of what you would think would be just not rough characters, but you can tell they're local townsfolk. They probably work in the mines during the spring and summer.
As they talk to these people, like, do they seem to be more like godly minded? Like,
at this point, you really wouldn't know. I mean, they're kind of rough talking. You can tell they don't hold back anything on what they believe. They're just kind of rough, common workers, you would think. You don't know you don't get any given of their religious belief yet.
okay, fair enough.
So Nen's actually gonna. I mean, if it's getting later in the evening, she's gonna, like I said to Graylin, I think that we should rest. So she's gonna seek a room.
Yeah, Andretta will actually put you up in some rooms. They're very common, very prettily furnished, but I mean, place especially just for rest. She will gladly put you up and cover the cost of it.
Yeah.
We don't need much. I would tell her that if the heavy fog starts to come in, please let us know. Maybe if there's a boy or something, we could leave on watch so that we could rest and recuperate. So we're at full vigor when the evil comes.
Yes, I will have one of the local townsfolk set up here after the tavern closes, and if anything is seen that should bring attention to what you need, I will have him awaken you.
Okay. Have them take caution and not be a hero. And then she'll go. She's going to go rest because, she got woken up last night and we've been traveling all day.
All right, perfect. What about Graylin? Do you want to stay down in the common room with the townsfolk? You've noticed it's probably some of them have dissipated and left since y'all have been gone. There's still some there, but you tell a lot of them have probably went back to their own homes preparing for the night.
Yeah, I mean, I would stay in whatever the rooms are that Non is. I mean, the type of room, not in Non's room, of course.
All right. Yep, they can have a room for you and rest up. What about Dalo? Are you going to stay here talking to these two towns?
I mean, I think Dalo is pretty much got his rest, so he's probably okay. He's probably going to stay up and hang around, just kind of hang around downstairs a little bit, talk to maybe some different people. He doesn't probably feel the most comfortable around this place, but that sometimes the struggles that a man of God has to face.
Yep, you're able to do that. Andretta, you see her go and talk to after Nan and Graylin go upstairs. You see her go talk to another townsfolk. This guy, you can tell the way he's dressed. He's probably a businessman, more of a businessman than an actual common worker or whatever. You see her say something to them, and she takes her leave. The crowd begins getting very sparse. You see that man sit up by the fire. He gets the fire stoked up. The two gentlemen that you're speaking to, Dalo, they're pretty well into their drinks pretty well, and they say, well, thank you for joining us. We better go on home and close the shutters and sleep this off. We'll see you tomorrow sometime.
Yep, they'll give them a blessing and send them on their way.
All right. The tavern eventually closes. Not long after that, you notice the one man that has stoked the fire is got a table there, and he is staying. Appears that he's playing some type of a solitaire game of cards or dice. He looks over towards you, Dalo, and he goes, "You are not going to rest like your friends in case something happens this evening?"
Well, I didn't realize it was getting so late. They had a long day, but I had managed to get rest. But I shall see myself to bed now.
I've been informed if there is any strange occurrences during the night to awaken you three, and I will do that.
Yes. Do not go investigate these matters of yourself. I sense the work of many demons in this place.
Oh, I am not a brave man. Trust me, I'm not as brave as Andretta.
Indeed. And with that, Dalo will head to his room.
Yep, you make your way to your room. Do your prayers or whatever meditations as you prepare to see what happens. You fall into a peaceful slumber. Graylin, roll me a d6.
I got 4.
About 4 to 5 hours in the middle of the night, you hear a knock on your door, Graylin. Awaken! It's getting foggy. You can hear a man yelling.
All right. So I would get myself up and I would go pull my dagger and just kind of crack the door to look outside and just make sure it's just a regular.
Yep, you see the man that was described to Dalo and stuff. You see the man that Andretta is set up for. Has been taking the night watch there.
I would ask him real quick. Have you woken the other two, my other 2 companions?
No. I come to the first door. You're the first door.
Fetch
The
them
fog
immediately.
the fog is coming in.
I would tell him to fetch them immediately.
He goes and you hear Dalo. You hear knocking on your door as you are awakened, and also Nan. And you hear the voice. Your friend said to awaken you.
Yeah, Dalo will get up and he's gonna start. Getting his armor on. He's gonna say, "Yes, I'll be there post haste."
While he's doing that too, Tony, I'm gonna while he's going around waking everybody up, I'm assuming, are we up on like a second floor, or is this all just a 1-floor deal?
Yeah, it's a second floor, a smaller second floor that you're on.
I'm gonna start looking to see if there's a hatchway like into an attic to see if there's a way to get out onto the roof without having to go outside and climb up.
There is not. You notice in this one, the way it was constructed, there is not.
Okay. All right. Then I'll go downstairs and start trying to see. Is anybody downstairs, like the bartender or
just this single man that was staying watch for the night?
Okay, so I would basically ask him, where's the nearest? I need to get on the roof.
He says, "Well, if you want to climb the roof of the sword here, you would just have to go outside. But there is no ladder around. We would have to go secure a ladder from one of the town shops."
All right, I'll wait for the other 2.
Yep, as you're waiting, Graylin, if you look out one of the shuttered windows out front, you can see the fog is setting in quite heavy. I mean, it's a very low-lying fog. It is just real thick and boiling grayish white fog that is taking over. I mean, you can still see, you would think if you were walking outside, maybe 10, 15 foot in front of you, but that's it. Nan, anything special you or Dalo would want to do as you're preparing?
No, Dalo will get his armor on and then he'll simply head downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, Nan will just grab her bag. I mean, she's already, she doesn't wear armor or anything, so she comes right down. I guess I'm going to immediately ask Graylin if he believes that the fog is natural or not. Being the druid, he should have a better guess of it than I am.
I'd look at you and say, I believe what the lady Cicera told us. She says it is not natural, and I have no reason to doubt her at this point. But we need to get up high, either onto the roof of this building or into a tower or somewhere. We need to get up off the ground so we can see over the fog.
Graylin, you can make a wisdom check, 3d6 and -1 to your roll. You need to equal or under, of course, your wisdom.
Oh, shit. Okay, I made it. Thank you. 1. All right, so I got a 11 under 15.
Yeah, when when Nan asked you about the fog, by looking at it, you feel very uneasy. You don't feel that this is just some natural environmental fog that has come in. You get an uneasy feeling about it, much like Cicerella had mentioned.
So I'm going to poke my head out the door and immediately look and see if we're in a small town. Is there any kind of a guard tower or?
No, they don't have any type of guard tower. In fact, you would have, to retcon a little bit, Andretta would have told you the only type of law enforcement they would have had would have been as a constable. Nothing goes on here as far as that.
Well, I say, as you mentioned, I say, well, sitting on the roof and waiting would have been a good idea to watch the fog come in, but it's already here now, so I guess we must face what comes with it. And she's just going to walk out into the middle of the street. What she's going to do is she's going to take, she has 6 torches. She's going to put them on, make a circle around her with the torch. She's not going to light them yet, but she's going to make a circle around her, like probably like 15 feet out, like a 15-foot radius of a diameter. And she's in that way. The plan is that once everybody gets there, she's going to light them up so that we can see all around us. Because you say that the fog doesn't go out that far. So, yeah, I say, so I'm just going to lay the torches out on the ground and continue to talk to Graylin and say, we'll create a space here that will be able to see anything coming towards us.
As you do that, Graylin, are you and Dalo going outside also?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the wizard because I respect their ability to make things go boom.
Not yet.
So yeah, obviously, but I know you can, and that's what's important. So I'm gonna go out there, and actually I will go out there and help with the lantern, with the torches, because I've got several of my own.
All right.
So I'll add a few of my torches to it to try and make the ring a little bit bigger. So that if we have to get inside of it, we won't be like pretty much all on top of each other.
All right.
I'm going to bring the dog, Ulfdar, with me. And
all right.
I'm going to just kind of command him to use his, since we're in a fog, I'm going to command him to use his nose and to try and to keep a lookout.
Perfect. What about Dalo?
We haven't had time to redo our spells or anything, have we?
No, I mean, this is the middle of the night, probably
Okay.
1 a.m. or so.
All right. Well, then Dalo will just stick with the others. I mean, safety numbers and all that.
All right. Everybody go ahead and roll initiative because it is probably fixing to come into play. What'd you get, Dalo?
3.
All right. I'm going to bump you up to 4. What did you get, Graylin?
I rolled a 1 on my D12.
Oh, man. All these may be low.
I have no bonus.
Oh, come on, Nan. Did you get a high?
6. So in the middle.
Nan, you were the highest first. You start putting your torches and all of that. And you see Graylin, comes out and helps you, adjust some of the torches. The fog just boils in straight in over some of the torches. You see a couple of them just poof and puff out. It seems like it's not helping the light. But as y'all are looking in the fog, you start hearing this moaning, this like a wind blowing. But as you look into the fog, this is what you see. You see this figure that is almost humanoid in a way, with these long, clawed up hands and arms, and you see it sparkling blue and sparkling white coming off of it. Nan, what would you want to do?
Okay, so are some of the torches still up?
Yeah, some of them are still showing a light. A couple of them puffed out.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is the reason why I ask, I'm going to cast Phantasmal Force, but I want to make it seem like I'm summoning a fire elemental. So I'm going to basically enchant some words and make the torches light up, and over my head create this huge, 12-foot tall flame that's going to lash out with its flaming pseudopods at this creature with the Phantasmal Force. So, yeah.
All right, let me read it real quick how it is in this edition.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, you see this creature. As you do that, you see the creature just that appears in the fog. I mean, it just dissipates back into some of the fog. You see it disappear.
Okay. I'm going to keep the elemental here. And
All right.
and then I'm going to say, because it's basically until I decide to drop it. So I'm going to say, it's still around us, I'm sure. And yeah.
Dalo, you are next.
Does Dalo see this creature at all?
Yeah, you would have seen it just for the brief moment it was there. Everybody would have seen it.
But he doesn't see it currently.
No, it just kind of poof, disappeared into the fog somewhere.
Dalo would like to cast Detect Magic.
All right. Let me read something real quick to make sure that.
There's one big ass magic thing above you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it lasts 3 minutes and has a range of 60 feet. So, if it's undead, it probably won't do anything. But if there's any foul magics other than the magic thing above my head, then
That's a good idea.
Roll me.
I'm to prepare any other spells, so I'm just working with what I got.
Roll me a 3d6 on your intelligence, Dalo.
Okay. No, 9, and my intelligence is like a 6, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you get definitely aura of magic that is just radiating all around in your area, but you have no idea if it's just coming straight from Nan, what Nan has done, or if it's coming from other sources or not. The fog creature is going to, let's see. It appears, as you're doing that, Dalo, it appears straight behind you and appears back into form straight behind you. And as it does, it lashes out at you and will hit you. And you feel this almost like a lightning bolt, this electrical bolt that just shatters and goes straight into your armor and your body. You'll take 7 points of damage as it does. I mean, it just shocks and scars and burns your armor.
Ow.
And it is right behind you, Dalo. Graylin, you see this fog creature is definitely appeared right behind Dalo now and just shocked the living, out of him.
All right. I am going to take a huge chance here. So I'm going to kind of look over at Nan and be like, be ready. And I'm going to step forward toward the creature, and I hold up my staff in one hand, or my staff and one hand, and I tell him, and I just say the words, I go, hold, and I say, we are all brothers, all people, beasts, trees, stone, and wind. We descend from the same great being, or excuse me, we all are descended from the one great being that was always there before people lived and named it and before the first seed sprouted. Stay your vengeance and speak to one of your ilk, and pray to God he doesn't kill the shit out of me.
Are you casting some particular spell or not?
Nope. I have the feeling that this might be the spirit of one of those druids.
Okay.
Letting him know that I too am one of those druids, and I'm telling him to stay his vengeance and speak to me.
You see the fog creature pays no attention to what you say. Evidently, you have no idea if it heard you or not, but you get no reaction from it. We jump back to you, Nan.
Okay. The elemental is going to strike at it.
All right. Go ahead.
18.
Yep, that will hit it.
So I don't know how that works. And it looks like it does 2d6. Oh, well, 5.
5, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it believes that it's fire damage, if that matters. I don't know if it does or not.
Yeah, you see you hear the hideous, wind voice come out of this creature again as your elemental strikes into it at this point. It doesn't disappear back into the fog. It's surprised by being struck with such violent force, you would think. So it's still there, visible. Dalo.
Dalo will raise his holy symbol and call upon his gods and attempt to turn undead.
You do that and roll your 3d6.
14. Pretty good.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, I figured.
This fog creature turns. Well, let's tell you what. Let me see what it does. Yep, it turns towards the fire elemental and strikes out at it.
Oh crap! Okay.
And it's going to miss pretty horribly. Pretty horribly with that roll.
Yeah, because all it has to do is hit it and it'll disappear. So.
Yeah, I'm going to say it missed though. I mean, that's pretty horrible.
All right.
Graylin, we're back to you then.
While its attention is on the fire elemental, let me see. Sorry, I am so not used to playing casters, so I do apologize.
Oh no, we're no hurry.
Okay,
we're on schedule.
So I'm gonna move like very quickly toward Dalo. And I'm just gonna just reach out and touch him on the shoulder, and speak some, words of naturey wisdom, and attempt to heal him. Mainly because he needs it, and also
Taylor refuses your healing. He's not going to by your devil magics.
All right. Okay. So you pull away while I'm in the process?
Yep.
All right. So then I'll jerk my hand back before I lose it, and I'll just grab my spell, and I'll just look at him and say, well, perish then. And then I'll turn, and I'll probably take as many steps back toward the creature as I'm allowed before my actions are done.
You're able to save your spell at Dalo's refusal. With that, you're able to stop it mid cast or whatever's fine by me.
Yep.
Nan, we're back to you, but before you do something, Nan, you look and you see walking up the street, you see these four figures.
Yes.
You notice these four figures are the four figures that were in the ice house walking in various states of decay and stuff walking towards you.
Fantastic. Shut up, Crystal. I saw your little box light up.
So I say, cleric, do your thing, and the elemental's going to strike down at the fog creature again. 17 that time. I don't know if that's still good enough.
17, nope, 17 misses it.
Oh shit!
You will need an 18.
Okay, all right, missed it.
Dalo, you see these four what used to be townsfolk in various farms walking up the street. They'll be to you. They're coming. You can actually see them appearing through the fog. You would think they'll be on top of Nan or maybe Graylin this round.
Okay. Dalo will step up and he'll say, "Continue to attack the fog creature. I have a feeling that something is off. There's magic all around us. It's hard to explain." And then he will lift his holy symbol and call upon his gods and say, "Turn, you fiends, and run from us." And attempt to turn undead on these used to be town people coming toward.
Roll 3d6.
I got a 12.
When you do that, you feel something that you know for sure that whatever you did may have done some good you would think normally, but something repels it back and it seems to have no effect.
There's great evil here that is diminishing the power of my gods.
They are approaching. Let me put them into initiative. Oh man, everybody has such low rolls. The fog creature is going to, let's see if it's going after the elemental or Dalo. It's going after the elemental again. Let's see, a 15. Will 15 hit it?
No, 17 is the AC.
All right, so it misses the elemental then.
That's pretty good. Whew, thank God.
We are up to the whatever these old used to be townsfolk. There are four walking towards. Two of them walk towards you, Graylin, and as they do, they try to reach out with you. These old nasty claws of their hands. One of them will hit for 5 points, Graylin, and claws into you. You just feel the necrotic awfulness of the claw as it goes into you, knowing that this is some horrible evil.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm pretty easy to hit.
As easy as
And
me.
the other one misses. The other two, you see walk towards you, Nan, as they're walking towards you and reach out for you. One of them will hit for 3 points.
Oof, okay.
I must feel awful. If only someone had suggested to burn the bodies.
Cleric, do your job. Destroy these things.
And Graylin, we're up to you then, as you've got two of these townsfolk on you.
So I'm going to I'm gonna fuck. I'm gonna depend on Dayload to be able to try and turn these things. Hold on. I'm going to actually. Shit, I don't know which one is a better idea here. I can have the dog attack or tell him to defend me.
Yep, whatever you want to do.
But that's basically, that makes my AC 13 instead of 12. But he can do some damage. So we're going to go after the. Can I still just turn and swing on the shadow creature?
Yeah, the shadow creature, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to turn and swing my. Actually, piss on that. Nope, I can't. Because I didn't get my spells back, did I?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nope.
So I'm going to turn and swing on the shadow creature.
All right.
Myself. And I'm going to have the dog attack him as well. So my attack, I got a 16, which I don't think is good enough.
On the fog creature? Nope. You will need an 18 to hit it.
Off the table. I did get a 19 for the dog, though.
For the dog, he's attacking in the fog or the zombie?
The Zog.
Okay.
The fog.
The fog,
Sorry.
yeah. He jumps into the fog creature.
All right. And he will do 4 points of damage.
All right.
The dog did as much as the elemental.
So what?
The dog did 4. The elemental only did 5.
He's excited.
That's a big dog.
I have a
Man,
Bernese
we're back
mountain
to
dog.
you then, I guess.
Okay, so I mean, the elemental will just kind of float up there this round. I'm not gonna drop it, but I'm gonna cast web on the 2 creatures on me.
All right.
So I can just, I mean, I'm assuming that 2 of them are attacking me. They're within a 10-foot.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so I just dropped this web spell on them. I mean, I don't think I can get. Nobody else is close enough. The ones on Graylin aren't close enough, and
Oh, no, they're out of the way.
yeah, so I just drop it on the 2 that are on me, so that kind of like holds them in place, so I don't get attacked by them anymore. So I drop the web spell and I take a step back away. Once
Yep, that works. You've got the 2 townsfolk webbed up. Dalo.
Dalo is going to like step sort of like next to Graylin, or where he won't hit Graylin, and he's gonna like he has this ring on his finger, this like emerald ring, and he takes it and he whispers to it and kisses it, and as he does, he begins to like suck air like into his mouth, and like the emerald lights up as he does so, and then he pushes his breath out, and this large like icy wind begins to spread in a 15-foot cone to encompass these things with the magical item that you gave me earlier. And they take D6 worth of damage, and they need to save or have their attacks reduced to a -2.
You're targeting the other 2 townsfolk
Yes.
in that cone?
Yeah, the ones that are not webbed.
Yeah, roll the damage for them.
Okay. 1 whole damage, which makes sense. They're undead. I mean, fair enough.
Yep, you do 1 damage to them, and one of them made a save, one of them did not. So what happens after that? I don't have my deal pulled up right now.
I think it was crap. I think it was they take a -2 to all their hits. Let me
Yep,
get
I
it.
believe that. Yep, I believe that's right. Did you say that? For some reason I don't have it open on my PDF right now.
Yes. Fine. I have it here somewhere. Here it is. Save or roll at -2 for the next 1d6
All
round
right,
of combat.
that works. One of them passed, one of them did not, so I got that wrote down. The fog creature, looking at all the targets by it, seeing the elemental kind of go up in the air, the fog creature is going to turn its attention towards you, Graylin.
Yay.
And let's see here. It will hit for 7 points of damage. Is it you feel these electrical bolts just shoot through your body and course through you?
That will put me at 0.
0 exactly?
Yes.
Okay, you're not dead yet. You're down. Next round, your turn, you'll get to do something to see if you
Okay.
maybe live. 2 of these zombies are webbed up. One of them is seems to be a little slower now that this frost deal has hit them. Them 2 are going to turn their attention towards. One of them turns attention towards the dog. The other one turns attention towards you, Dalo. Both of them are going to hit. The dog will take 3 points of damage. Dalo, you'll take 2 points.
Okay.
And the puppy dog takes 3. And we are up to you, Graylin. You're at 0, so make me a save, just a saving throw, no modifiers.
No modifiers. All right. You got to get over it, right?
Yep, equal to or over.
I did make it.
You did?
I got equal.
You come back to conscious at 1 HP. You have 1 HP right now.
Okay. Can I do anything, or am I?
No, that's it for this round.
Okay.
Nan, so we're back to Nan then. Is you're able
I
to
still have my
fight it off,
dog.
Graylin? Oh yeah, you got your dog. Your dog
Yeah.
just got bit.
But okay, so none of them are like, they're only frozen with like webs and stuff, right?
Well, you see, 2 of them have been webbed by the elf magic user, and the other 2 seem to be covered in this frosty cold stuff that something that Dalo did to them.
Okay, so that hit actually hurt the dog pretty good, believe it or not. So he's actually going to move back to Graylin and go to defend.
All right, perfect.
So Graylin's AC will go to 13 instead of 12.
All right, that sounds good to me. And we're back to you, Nan.
All right, so Nan's gonna draw from her waist or wherever she keeps it the wand that she has, and she's gonna point it at the fog creature and speak the magical word and shoot an acid arrow at it. So
All
it
right.
says, 1 acid arrow automatically strikes a target for a d6 -1 damage.
Yep.
So, I roll 6, so 5 points.
All right, 5. Yeah, you see it hit into the fog creature, and you see part of it dissipate, of course. But
So it has to make a save, or it'll take damage next round as well. One more.
all right. Hey, it fails its save.
Okay, so next round it'll also, I guess, automatically take damage.
All right, just remind me when we come back to that. Dalo, what would you like to do?
Could Dalo, like, if he kind of like runs away from the zombie, can he close combat with the fog creature this turn?
Yeah, I mean, it's all, y'all are all kind of in the same area. I mean, so yeah, any movement up to it would be pretty easy, you would think.
All right, then he doesn't have a magical weapon or anything, but either way, he's gonna try it anyway. He's gonna break combat with this zombie creature, and he's gonna try and hit this fog creature with his staff.
All right.
No, with a 6, I'm definitely not gonna hit it.
Nope, unfortunately, that misses. The fog creature is going to turn his attention to you, Dalo, this time as you try to strike into him. You've got his attention on you. You see this blue and white lightning start sparking, arcing across. Ooh, a 19. You'll take 7 points of damage as you're hit by some other type of electrical bolt.
Okay, Dalo screams in pain.
And what does that put you HP wise?
2.
2? Okay. And we're up to the zombies. 2 of them are still webbed. The other one that is kind of moving slow, he's going to move. He's moving towards you, Dalo, but you see it's moving very slow, and it's not going to do anything else. The other one goes after the dog again. Oh, he's going to miss with a 3 on the dice, so Rover is safe right now.
Roll for save.
Rover.
Oh, Rover is safe.
Rover
Gotcha.
is safe. Yep, he's safe right now.
All right.
And we're up to you, Graylin. Is just one of these zombies or whatever it is trying to attack the dog?
All right. So here's a question: If I shapeshift, do I get to take on any of the qualities of that which I shapeshift into?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as long as it's nothing, yeah.
All right.
Depending on exactly what you got in mind, of course.
Where is it? Oh,
Dragon turtle.
What?
Dragon turtle.
That might be a little bit beyond my reach at this point. However, that would kick ass.
Okay.
Now, a giant snapping turtle would be even better.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds because I
take your time.
I accidentally closed your PDF here.
While you're doing that, Nan, roll me damage for the acid arrow. This acid's dripping on it. I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, that was 2. 3 minus 1 is 2.
All right.
All right, Jude. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to shift into the form of a black bear because I can.
All right.
Because why in the hell not? So essentially, I'm going to try and hulk out into a black bear. Now, this thing that attacked my dog, was it one of the zombies?
Yep, it was one of the zombie type creatures that you would think.
I'm basically just going to hulk right into the form of a black bear and try and pounce on this thing that's attacking my dog.
Yeah, and I don't see a bear in White Box. Do you have Swords and Wizardry complete?
I don't think I do. In fact,
hold on, I'll pull it up. I can give you some stats off of just the BX deal. We'll use that. It's going to be close enough. Hit die will be 4, so just roll a 4d6 for your HP for the bear. The bear actually gets. I'm going to give it the 3 attacks. You'll have 2 claws and a bite. The claws will do D6 minus 1. The bite, I'll say do D6 plus 1.
All right. 8.
And armor class will be 13 for the black bear. We'll just use those stats.
What was the damage on the attacks?
The claws, the 2 claw attacks will do a D6 minus 1, and the bite will do D6 plus 1.
Times 2 and D6 plus 1. Okay. All right. So I'm going to roll.
Yep. So it'll be a D20 plus 4 for the attack bonus for the black bear.
Okay. So I'm going to roll 3 D20s. The big one is going to be the bite.
Alrighty.
All right. And it's plus 4 to each one. So, all right. So 1 claw hits, 1 bite hits, the other claw misses.
All right. How much damage total?
So the bite is going to do 5, and the claw is going to do 3.
What does the black bear do to this thing to just rip it into shreds?
So basically, after attacking him and then attacking his dog, I hulk out into a bear, and I just basically reach forward and just swipe the thing down on the ground with my claw, and then just pounce on it and just maul it with my jaws and just rip it to shreds.
Yep, you see body parts, frozen body parts go everywhere.
Yep. And then the dog, who only has 1 hit point left, I'm going to tell him to defend the bear. So
all right.
I won't lose my dog. So,
Man, you see a hulked out black bear is ripping to shreds one of the poor villagers.
Nice. Well, I'm happy that that the maybe the villager is going to meet its final end that it should have and not be brought back from undeath because it's pretty terrible. She's going to have hoping that it kind of surprises the fog creature. She's going to drop the elemental back down on top of it and have it swing at the fog creature.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so that's 20.
Yep, 20 will hit.
And oh, that's good. 11 points of damage, almost max damage.
As the elemental comes down and just starts burning and the fire and stuff, you hear the hideous wind noise again. The fog creature disappears.
Whoosh. Okay.
Nice.
It's quiet for just a moment.
Yep. So now it says, "It's around us. Be weary."
Are all the zombies down?
There's two of them that are webbed. You know, trying to get out of this web that Nan put on them. And the other one is staying there in front of Dalo as we were up to you, Dalo.
Okay. Okay, then I guess Dalo will attempt to turn the zombie again. If
you can't, you've already. You can only use it once per encounter. You've already used it.
Okay, but I mean that was when. All right, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I mean you tried to turn them when they first appeared. Remember?
Right, but I mean I don't know. That was when the thing was around, so I just thought it'd be different rules now.
Nope. It's not a different encounter. It's the same encounter.
All right. Okay. You know what? Then Dalo, I don't know if this is a really dumb idea, but fuck it, it's the best thing I got at this moment. Dalo is going to attempt to cure light wounds on the zombie with the thought that like cure light wounds is a holy spell and that the zombie's like an evil dead creature, and so maybe it would actually end up damaging it instead of healing it.
All right.
So that's what he wants to try and do. So, like, should I make an attack roll against it, or?
I mean, are you casting a spell, or you're just using a?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. And
yeah, I mean, just
on the zombie.
Zombie's not going to resist. I mean, he's trying to fight you and stuff. But I mean, if you're going to reach out and grab him and touch him and cure light wounds, go right ahead.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that since Cure Wounds is a holy spell and this is an evil creature, it wouldn't actually heal the zombie. Besides, I'm not intelligent anyway, so fuck it. Try it. Oh, and yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta actually roll for Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds.
Should be D6 plus 1, I think.
Yeah, D6 plus 1, yeah. Okay. And when you know that it did max. So it's either really, really good or really, really bad. 7 points. It either just got healed for 7 points or got killed for 7 points.
Roll me a D20. No modifiers, just straight D20.
8.
You reach out and touch this thing and feel your energy flow through it. And you see it hulk up as you would think whatever you just did had the opposite effect of what you wanted to, and you helped it instead.
Yeah, good. Okay, cool.
It is going to, the fog creature is disappeared.
Please just let it kill me now.
So, yep, this zombie deal is right on top of you, Dalo, as you just reached. So it's going to reach out and touch you. Oh, man, it's going to miss with that horrible roll. It misses you, though. Graylin, I guess we're up to you. No, it missed you with a 5 on the die.
So I'm going to, since the other two were webbed, my original plan was to move to that one anyway. So I'm going to try to bear maul this one as well.
Yeah, and you see it's all hulked up now.
Yeah, that's all right. Because fucking bear.
Bear is devastating.
All right, so here we go.
I'm going to call a bear next time.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, this time I missed with the bite, but I did get both claws with the +4s, only because I had +4. So that was lucky. The bite's the really bad one, though. All right, so one claw does 2, and the other claw does 4.
6 points total. What do you
6
do to
points.
rip this one to shreds then?
Well, I try to bite at it. It doesn't work, so I end up putting it in a bear hug. No, I just pounce on it with both claws, and as he falls down, I'm just imagining the paws just go right through the chest cavity and crush it. And I'm still, of course, roaring and angry at this unnatural thing.
You're roaring and angry. The fog in the whole area starts to slowly dissipate, and it's like opening up where you can see your torches are starting to light the area up more. You don't hear any wind noise or any awful screeching or anything coming from inside the fog as the fog is dissipating and starting to disappear, and it's becoming more of a clear opening now. Nothing else happens. The 2 zombies that are webbed, if you want to burn them or do whatever you want to, you could to them.
Yeah, we'll take care of them.
Yeah, let the fire elemental do it. That'd be awesome.
Well, the only thing is if it doesn't kill, if the fire doesn't kill it, then they'll get out of the web because the web burns up and
oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
we don't want that to happen.
Although it says it burns up in two turns, or a turn if you use a sword and a torch. So it turns a long time to burn. So
Yeah.
I suppose it'll probably be dead by then. Do you want me to
Yeah,
roll?
you burn them. Yeah, most definitely. You can burn both of them up that are caught.
Although actually I can't. I actually just you say to use the fire elemental, and I look at you and I smile a little bit. Then I walk over and grab a torch and throw it on top of it because the zombie, it's not really fire. It won't actually burn it. I mean, you think it is, but like I know it's not, so I know it won't actually burn the zombies.
Yeah.
Are you staying in bear form right now, Graylin?
I'm going to stay in bear form until I am 100% sure that, because if I turn back, if I get hit, I'm done. So I'm going to stay in bear form until I'm 100% sure that this fog is gone and we are safe again.
Well, I say, as I grab the torch, right? So if you were thinking about doing that, anyways, I say, the constable. What happened to him? As I'm looking at the bodies.
You do not see the constable's body there.
Yeah. So I say, and I kind of like raise my hand and I make the elemental follow me. So I'm like a badass going down the street, but I want to head towards where the constable is.
To the ice house?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you're walking along, as the group is maneuvering to the ice house, the fog is pretty much disappeared. I mean, it's back to just a normal, still black, cold night.
Okay.
You go to the ice house, the door is standing wide open.
Well, I've got an hour for this bear, so I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, I think realistically, I probably can't go in because I think I would probably need to keep sight on the elemental, so I got to stay out here. If I don't want to lose it, so I'll stay here, and I'll say I'll stay here to the elemental will burn the building down if I go in there. So I say check to see if there's bodies in there and consecrate it if need be.
I'll go up to the door and use my big bear head, and I'll look back at Dalo, and I'll just go. And I'll do like this with my head, saying, "Go."
I say I was talking to the cleric,
and then I just look at him and go.
Yeah, Dalo's not feeling very good. I mean, he's already failed several times tonight, but he'll nevertheless go into the building and see if the constable is there.
You go into the ice house, stay low. Of course, you see the 4, sheets, coverings, or whatever, the 4 of it come to the street and attacked, laying on the ground where the constable was. You see nothing under the sheet. You see the sheet still lying on the table, but the body is not there.
Oh, great.
Well, whatever, the constable became, he's not here any longer. Man, if only we had a funeral for these men and burned the bodies on pyres.
So I will shift out of bear form.
If only there had been a around who would have thought to do something like that.
So when you shift out of bear form, I say cleric 1, druid 1.
No.
Are there any where the constable was laying? Are there any like blankets or rags or anything laying there from where he was?
Yep, just the blanket and stuff he was covered in or whatever is still there. It's
So I'm
not,
gonna
it's still there, but that's it.
grab that and I'm gonna like kneel down next to Ulfdar and I'm gonna like hold it up to him and let him like get a good sniff on it. And I'll try and tell him. I'll say, "Go find me, boy. Go get him. Go get him."
He starts like sneezing, and you know how a dog would like get into something like and start sneezing and shaking his nose and sniffling and stuff.
Okay.
It acts like it has some adverse effect on him.
I would jerk it away immediately, and toss it off to the side and reach out and pet his head and tell him that I'm sorry.
Is my detect magic still on? Because it lasts for like 20 minutes.
Oh no, I would say it'd be off by now.
Yeah, okay.
In that case, I want to go ahead and cast my own Cure Light Wounds upon myself while I have a moment.
The night will progress on. Nothing else happens. I mean, it's morning will come unless there would be something special y'all would want to do at that point.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I think after we waited around for a little bit and nothing happened, I'd probably drop the elemental and we'd go back in and put the guy back on guard duty because down full, definitely, I'm sure they are too. We're very depleted, so we definitely need to rest.
Yes.
Yep, you're able to rest, and Andretta will come and awaken you the next morning, and she will come up to you, Graylin, and she will go whisper in your ear, Graylin, tell me how the story ends for you.
As in this is the end?
Yep.
Okay.
He's going to end it and be like, and you're dead.
So Graylin would sit and he would be very, he'd wake up the next morning somewhat healed and rested. He would be aggravated at the fact that he was not able to solve this mystery. However, he does like the idea of this mystery of the Greyland Forest, which conveniently he shares the same name as this forest, which strikes him as being odd and possibly more than just a coincidence. Obviously, he was taken by the strength of will of the mayor. He enjoys the fact that this is while it is a town and not really his type of place, it is a small town. And he hopes to speak with the mayor and with Cicera. What was it?
The Cicerella, yeah.
Cicerella. Knowing that Cicerella is one of his own kind, he would he would attempt to stay, befriend the mayor, and hopefully befriend her sister in the hopes for mentorship, and in the process seek to spend his time solving the mystery of this Greyland Forest and hopefully putting an end to this blight that is on this town of Weirwarden. So basically, Greyland would elect to stay.
All right. Andretta goes over to the cleric known as Dalo the White. She puts her arm around him and she kisses him on the cheek and says, "Oh, Dalo, tell me how the story ends for you."
Yeah, Dalo never would have stayed. As soon as they went to bed, Dalo would have left. Dalo's feeling angry and defeated. Like, he couldn't turn undead several times. He couldn't even solve the mystery of this place. Not to mention, it's such an evil and wicked place. This isn't the kind of place that Dalo wants to be anymore. So Dalo heads back out into the wilds to head back to town by himself. And you never know what happens to him. Maybe he makes it back and tells them, of this town and how desperately they need a temple. Or, maybe he died and became one of these ghouls. The world may never know.
We may never know.
A story for another day.
Yes.
What about Nan? How does it end for Nan?
So Nan gets up, and she probably spends a day or two in the town, seeing that Dalo left, but assuming that Graylin will stay, I should say. She stays a couple days just to make sure that the fog doesn't come back. She is curious about the constable as well, but after a day or so, when nothing seems to really happen, and Graylin having said that he was going to stay in the area, she tells him that send one of your woodland friends if you ever need my help, and I'll come back. But I must now go and serve other barons in other lands. And she, gets on her horse and she goes off to serve, another baron or whatever to continue searching for magical secrets and to rid the land of, creatures, dark creatures.
All right. Now I will tell you how the story ends. We'll start with Andretta. This adventure was based on an old dungeon magazine adventure called The Eyes of the Iceborn, loosely based on some stuff in it. We used White Box to play it. And seeing your friend Dalo has left, she takes the 200 gold that was promised and gives it to you both as you leave. She's somewhat puzzled and upset about the missing body of the constable. She gladly accepts Graylin to stay in this area and wishes him well. She wishes you well, man, and tells you you're welcome to come back anytime. Andretta goes back. The village begins to slowly get back to what it was as the spring falls come in. The body parts that were strewn about by the black bear are picked up, and proper burial was made that spring of the at least the 4 villagers. Several weeks later, before winter ends, we go out to the Graylin Woods, the Graylin Forest. It shares the same name, different spelling than our character does, but we go out there and you see this figure laid out on a stone altar type deal. And as you get closer and peer in, you see it as the body of the Constable Franklin laying up on this altar. And you see these group of hooded figures that are standing around it making a chant. These dark green moss, dark brown robes, and these large wooden staffs that Graylin would have recognized immediately of being some type of druid, as they're standing around Constable Franklin's body and they're making these chants. And when you circle around to look at their faces and see their faces, that's the face you see, a face of nothing, a face of evil that has come back to exact its revenge on this area. And that will end our adventure known as Eyes of the Stranger. Thanks to Daniel for playing our elf magic user Nan. Thanks to Crystal for playing the human cleric Dalo the White, and Rush for playing our druid Graylin Pinestep.